Monetary non-monetary cost.
Okay, chapter 1. First বলেন কি মনিটারি নন মনিটারি কস্ট, রাইট? ওকে, নন মনিটারি মনিটারি কস্ট হচ্ছে নর্মালি আমাদের অপরচুনিটি কস্টের সাথে রিলেটেড। হ্যাঁ, সো আমি বলেছিলাম যে আমাদের আসলে অপরচুনিটি কস্টটা কি? হোয়াট ইজ অপরচুনিটি কস্ট? দ্য কস্ট অফ সামথিং উই গিভ আপ টু গেট অ্যানাদার থিং। সো আমি একটা জিনিস চুজ করলাম, সেটার জন্য আমি একটা জিনিস ছেড়ে দিলাম। সো আমি যে একটা জিনিস চুজ করলাম ওটার জন্য যে জিনিসটা ছাড়লাম সেটার সাথে কিছু কস্ট অ্যাসোসিয়েটেড না? সো ওই কস্টটাকে বলা হচ্ছে আপনার অপরচুনিটি কস্ট। সো অপরচুনিটি কস্টটা মনিটারিও হয়, অনেক সময় নন মনিটারিও হয়। সো আমরা যখন নন মনিটারি হয় তখন আমরা নর্মালি ওটাকে বলি হচ্ছে ট্রেড অফ, আর যখন মনিটারি হয় তখন ওটাকে অপরচুনিটি কস্ট বলি। এখন ট্রেড অফ কোনটা আগে শুনেন। নন মনিটারি দ্যাট মিনস হচ্ছে আপনি একটার বদলে একটা জিনিস এক্সচেঞ্জ করলেন। সে ফর আপনার ফ্রেন্ড আর আপনি হচ্ছে একজন ডানে বসেছেন, একজন বামে, লেফট অ্যান্ড রাইট। তো আপনি বললেন যে আমি আপনার সাথে তোমার সাথে মানে সিটটা সুইচ করতে চাই। কেন? কারণ আমার হয়তো এই জায়গায় দেখতে প্রবলেম হচ্ছে বা আমি কথা শুনতে পাচ্ছি না, সো আমি সিটটা চেঞ্জ করতে চাই। তো আপনি যে জিনিসটা করলেন এটা কি ট্রেড অফ না? সে বললো আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, ইটস ওকে, ইউ ক্যান সিট বিসাইড মি। সো এই যে বা আমার স্পটে আপনি বসতে পারেন, এটা হচ্ছে ট্রেড অফ। এখানে কিন্তু কোনো মনিটারি টার্ম এটার সাথে রিলেটেড টাকা পয়সার লেনদেন হয়েছে এখানে? নো। সো এটাকে আমরা বলি ট্রেড অফ। ঠিক আছে, এই জিনিসটা হচ্ছে নন মনিটারি। আর মনিটারি জিনিসটা সেটা হচ্ছে রিলেটেড উইথ অপরচুনিটি কস্ট। দ্যাট মিনস আমি একটা এক্সাম্পল দিয়েছিলাম এর আগে যে আপনি ইউনিভার্সিটিতে আসার জন্য আপনি অনেকগুলো ভায়া ইউজ করতে পারেন। আপনি বাইক নিতে পারেন, রিক্সা নিতে পারেন, হাঁটতে পারেন, বাস নিতে পারেন। ফার্স্টে আপনি চিন্তা করলেন যে আমার কাছে হচ্ছে টাইমটা বেশি ইম্পর্ট্যান্ট, দ্যাটস ওয়াই আই উইল টেক আ বাইক। বাইকে আপনার টাকা বেশি লাগে। আপনি যদি আপনার কাছে যদি টাইম ইম্পর্টেন্ট না হয়, মানি ইম্পর্টেন্ট হয়, তখন আপনি চুজ করবেন কি আই ক্যান ওয়াক, বাট হচ্ছে আমি টাকা সেভ করলাম। এই যে আপনার এখানে কি আপনি যে জিনিসটা চুজ করলেন, একটা জিনিস ছেড়ে দিলেন, এটার সাথে কি মানি রিলেটেড না? আপনি যে চিন্তা করলেন যে আমি হচ্ছে হেঁটে আসবো টাকা সেভের জন্য, বা আমি বাইকে আসবো, আমি টাকা দরকার নাই, আমি টাইমটা সেভ করবো, তো যে কোনো একটা তো আপনাকে স্যাক্রিফাইস করতে হচ্ছে। সো এখানে কিছু একটা কস্ট অ্যাসোসিয়েটেড না? এটাই হচ্ছে আপনার মনিটারি কস্ট, যেটাকে আমরা অপরচুনিটি কস্ট বলি। বলেন। এটা যখন মানির সাথে রিলেটেড থাকবে তখন মনিটারি কস্ট হবে। আপনি যখন টাকাটা গিভ আপ করছেন বিকজ আপনি টাইম সেভ করলেন, দ্যাট মিনস কি ওই টাকাটা আপনার হতো না, আপনি টাইম সেভ করার জন্য আপনি টাকাটা দিয়ে দিলেন, আপনি বাইকে আসলেন, সো আপনার টাকা এখানে গেল না। সো এটা হচ্ছে আপনার মনিটারি অপরচুনিটি কস্ট হবে। ঠিক আছে, সো এটা নন মনিটারি আমরা কখন বলি? নন মনিটারি কস্ট বলি হচ্ছে ট্রেড অফ, যখন কোনো টাকার আপনার কোনো লেনদেন থাকবে না, ট্রানজ্যাকশন থাকবে না, বাট ইউ আর এক্সচেঞ্জিং সামথিং উইথ অ্যানাদার পারসন। ক্লিয়ার? এরপরে বলেন চ্যাপ্টার 1-এ আর কি প্রবলেম?
Number, why do we have market, and according to you, what role should government play in this item? এই কোশ্চেনটা কেমনে হবে একটু বলুন।
কুইক কুইজে ফার্স্টেরটা ছিল হচ্ছে আপনার একদম লাস্টের স্লাইডে আছে এটা। আচ্ছা তাহলে বলেন, কারণ লাস্টের স্লাইড পর্যন্ত টাইম লাগবে, আবার রিপিট করেন কোশ্চেনটা। ওয়াই ডু উই হ্যাভ মার্কেট? ওকে, মার্কেট আমাদের কেন দরকার? ঠিক আছে, এটা হচ্ছে ওয়ান অফ দ্য প্রিন্সিপালস। আমাদের এখানে 10টা প্রিন্সিপাল আছে, ওয়ান অফ দ্য প্রিন্সিপালসে হচ্ছে অ্যান্সারটা। আমাদের মার্কেট কেন দরকার? মার্কেট কেন দরকার? বিকজ ইন দিস মার্কেট উই কন্ডাক্ট ইকোনমিক অ্যাক্টিভিটিস। মার্কেটে ইকোনমিক অ্যাক্টিভিটি হয়। কেমন ইকোনমিক অ্যাক্টিভিটি? সেলার্স আর সেলিং দেয়ার প্রোডাক্টস দেয়ার অ্যান্ড বায়ার আর পারচেসিং দেয়ার প্রোডাক্ট দেয়ার। সো দিস সর্ট অফ ইকোনমিক অ্যাক্টিভিটি, ফর দিস সর্ট অফ ইকোনমিক অ্যাক্টিভিটি উই নিড মার্কেট। ঠিক আছে, এরপর আচ্ছা গভর্নমেন্ট প্লে, এটা হচ্ছে প্রবাবলি আপনার প্রিন্সিপাল নাম্বার 7 বা 8 7-এ থাকার কথা। হ্যাঁ, দেখেন এটা হচ্ছে যে গভর্নমেন্টের আসলে রোল কি, মার্কেটে কেন ইন্টারভেন করে। সো প্রিন্সিপাল নাম্বার অ্যাকর্ডিং টু প্রিন্সিপাল নাম্বার 7 অনেক সময় দেখা গেছে প্রিন্সিপাল নাম্বার 6 আমাদের বলা ছিল কি যে আমাদের আগে হচ্ছে আমরা ট্রেডিশনাল মার্কেট প্যাটার্ন ফলো করতাম, যেখানে গভর্নমেন্ট হচ্ছে সব ডিসিশন নিত কোন প্রোডাক্ট প্রডিউস করা হবে, কেন প্রডিউস করা হবে। এরপর উই মুভ টু মার্কেট ইকোনমি। মার্কেট ইকোনমিটা কি, সেটা হচ্ছে যে আপনার সাপ্লায়ার হচ্ছে আপনার বায়ার, তাদের ডিমান্ড অ্যান্ড সাপ্লাইয়ের উপর ডিপেন্ড করে আসলে চিন্তা করা হয় বা ডিসিশন নেওয়া হয় কোন প্রোডাক্টটা প্রডিউস করা হবে। সো এখন মার্কেট ইকোনমিতে কিছু প্রবলেম দেখা যায়, এই জন্য হচ্ছে গভর্নমেন্টের আসলে মার্কেটে ইন্টারভিন দরকার। কোন ধরনের প্রবলেম, একটা বলা হচ্ছে আপনার, না আমি আপনাকে এক্সপ্লেন করছি যে হোয়াই গভর্নমেন্ট নিডস ইন্টারভেন ইন দ্য মার্কেট। ঠিক আছে, আমাদের প্রত্যেকটা প্রিন্সিপালি একটার সাথে রিলেটেড। আপনার যদি বুঝতে হয় যে গভর্নমেন্ট কেন মার্কেটে ইন্টারভেন করে, তাহলে আপনার বুঝতে হবে যে আসলে এই জিনিসটা স্টার্টিং কোথা থেকে। প্রিন্সিপাল নাম্বার 6 and 7 রিলেটেড হচ্ছে এই কোশ্চেনটা। আপনি যদি প্রিন্সিপাল নাম্বার 6 and 7টা পড়েন তাহলে এখানে অ্যান্সারটা পাবেন। সো গভর্নমেন্ট মেইনলি মার্কেটে ইন্টারভেন করে কারণ মার্কেটে ইন্টারভেন না করলে কিছু প্রবলেম হয়, যেমন হচ্ছে পাওয়ার মিসইউজ হয়। ঠিক আছে, আপনি বড় ইন্ডাস্ট্রি, আপনাকে বলা হলো যে ডাম্পিং হতে পারে, আপনার পাওয়ার এক্সারসাইজ হয়, যেমন আপনাকে এক্সটার্নালিটি হচ্ছে কথা বলা আছে, যেমন এটা কেমন, আপনাকে বলা হলো যে গার্মেন্টস ইন্ডাস্ট্রিতে যে আপনারা গভর্নমেন্ট বাজেট দিয়ে দিল যে আপনারা নিজেরা হচ্ছে রিসোর্স অ্যালোকেট করে নেবেন, গভর্নমেন্ট কোনো বাজেট বা হচ্ছে রিসোর্স অ্যালোকেট করবে না। সো প্রবলেমটা তখন কি হয়, যারা পাওয়ারফুল অর্গানাইজেশন থাকে, 2-4 জন যে মার্কেটে পাওয়ারফুল জায়েন্ট থাকে, তারাই হচ্ছে পুরো বাজেটটা তারা নিয়ে নিবে, ছোটো যে অর্গানাইজেশনগুলো ওদেরকে কিন্তু চান্স দিবে না। এই জন্য রং পাওয়ার জন্য এক্সারসাইজ না করতে পারে। তারপর আবার কি হয়, অনেক সময় দেখা যাচ্ছে যে কয়েকটা বড় অর্গানাইজেশন মিলে মার্কেটে প্রাইস ম্যানিপুলেট করে, তারা ইচ্ছা করে হচ্ছে প্রোডাক্ট রেখে দেয় স্টকে, আর দেখা যায় মার্কেট শর্টেজ দেখায়, কেন, প্রাইস বাড়ানোর জন্য। সো এই টাইপ অফ যেন পাওয়ার মিসইউজ না করতে পারে, এই জন্য গভর্নমেন্টের মার্কেটে ইন্টারভিন দরকার। ঠিক আছে, এটা হচ্ছে প্রিন্সিপাল নাম্বার 7, এটার অ্যান্সারটা দেওয়া আছে গুছিয়ে, আমি আপনাকে জিসটা বললাম। এরপর আপনাদের 10 প্রিন্সিপালস কিন্তু খুবই ইম্পর্টেন্ট কোয়েশ্চেন, এখান থেকে প্রতিবারই কোয়েশ্চেন আসে আর আসবেও। শর্ট কোয়েশ্চেনের জন্য ইম্পর্টেন্ট, ব্রড কোয়েশ্চেনের জন্য খুবই ইম্পর্টেন্ট। চ্যাপ্টার 1-এর 10 প্রিন্সিপালস। প্রিন্সিপাল নাম্বার 10 কি বলা আছে? আচ্ছা, সোসাইটি ফেস শর্ট টার্ম ট্রেড অফ বিটুইন ইনফ্লেশন অ্যান্ড আনএমপ্লয়মেন্ট, রাইট? ওকে, এটা মেনলি বলা হচ্ছে কি, দেখেন দুইটা জিনিসের কথা বলা হচ্ছে। আমরা ফার্স্টে বলেছিলাম যে হোয়াট ইজ ট্রেড অফ, when we are taking something and choosing to let go another thing, right? But there is no monetary cost. So this is called trade off. So এখানে trade off কোন দুইটা জিনিসের জন্য বলা হচ্ছে? ইনফ্লেশন অ্যান্ড আনএমপ্লয়মেন্ট। এখন এটা বুঝতে হবে যে ফার্স্টে ইনফ্লেশনটা কি, হোয়াট ইজ ইনফ্লেশন? কেউ একজন বলেন, হোয়াট ইজ ইনফ্লেশন? দ্যাট মিনস হচ্ছে ওভারঅল মার্কেট প্রাইস ইনক্রিজ পাওয়া, রাইট? ওভারঅল মার্কেটে যা যা প্রোডাক্ট আছে সব কিছুর প্রাইস ইনক্রিজ পাবে, সো এটাকে আমরা বলতে পারি ইনফ্লেশন। এখন ইনফ্লেশনের সাথে তাহলে আনএমপ্লয়মেন্টের সম্পর্ক কি? আমরা আনএমপ্লয়মেন্টটা কখন বলি? দ্যাট মিনস ওয়েন ইন আ কান্ট্রি দেয়ার ইজ আ লট অফ পিপল হু হ্যাভ নো জব, রাইট? তখন আমরা বলি যে আনএমপ্লয়েড। সো এই মাঝে মধ্যে দেখা যায় কি, দেখেন যখন সোসাইটিতে সব কিছুর প্রাইস বেড়ে যায় তখন বলা হচ্ছে যে ইনফ্লেশন যখন অনেক বেড়ে যায় তখন এখানে একটা পজিটিভ রিলেশনশিপ আছে আনএমপ্লয়মেন্টের সাথে। এখন আমাকে একটু বলেন তো, চিন্তা করে জিনিসটা পজিটিভ রিলেশনশিপ কিভাবে হয় ইনফ্লেশনে? এটার সাথে আনএমপ্লয়মেন্ট কিভাবে রিলেটেড হলো? এটাই, যখন আপনি দেখেন মার্কেটে হচ্ছে ওভারঅল যখন প্রাইস সব কিছু বেড়ে যায় তখন কি হয়, সাপ্লাইয়ের আমি যদি ল অফ সাপ্লাইটা ফলো করি, যখন প্রাইস বাড়ে তখন সাপ্লাইয়ের কি হয়, সাপ্লাই বেড়ে যায় না? সো এখানে বলা হচ্ছে দ্য ওভারঅল প্রাইস অফ আ মার্কেট হ্যাজ ইনক্রিজড, রাইট? সো যখনই মার্কেটের প্রাইস বাড়ে আমরা ল অফ সাপ্লাই আমাদের বলে উইথ প্রাইস সাপ্লাই ইনক্রিজ। সো এই থিওরি যদি আমরা ট্রু হয় তখন কি হবে, আমার প্রাইস বেশি, সো সাপ্লাইয়াররা কিন্তু সাপ্লাই বাড়িয়ে দিবে। আপনার প্রোডাক্ট হচ্ছে আপনার আগে সাপ্লাই দিতেন হচ্ছে 100 ইউনিট, 100 ইউনিট, এখন আপনার যখন প্রাইস বাড়লো আপনি সাপ্লাই বাড়াবেন, আপনার সাপ্লাই বাড়িয়ে ইউনিট 200 ইউনিট নাও, এখন এই যে 200 ইউনিট আর এই যে 100 ইউনিট, তার মানে কি এখানে 100 ইউনিটের গ্যাপ আছে না, এক্সট্রা আপনার প্রডিউস করতে হচ্ছে না। এই আপনি যে 100 ইউনিট আপনি এক্সট্রা প্রডিউস করবেন, এটা কি সেম নাম্বার অফ এমপ্লয়ি, সেম নাম্বার অফ রিসোর্সেস দিয়ে আপনি করতে পারবেন প্রডিউস? যদি আপনার এই 100 ইউনিট প্রডিউস করতে লাগে হচ্ছে 10 জন, 10 এমপ্লয়ি, 200 করতে কি সেম এমপ্লয়ি লাগবে? ফর 200 you need the same employees, number of employees? No. So you need more employees for 200 units, right? Say for you need 20 employees for production. Then what will happen? You need to hire more people. That means unemployment is reduced, right? We are going for employment now. So unemployment ki kome gelo na? So there for short period of time, inflation and unemployment has a positive relationship. Because of inflation, unemployment reduced, but this is for the short period of time only, okay? Not for the long time. Because we believe in equilibrium, right? When there is a more supply, is it mandatory there would be more demand? We always want to achieve this equilibrium point, right? So when we will think about our equilibrium, then what it will do? The price is increasing. When the price will increase, is it possible or is it always true that the buying capacity or purchasing capacity or our earning is always increasing? No. The overall market price is increased, is inflation, but your purchasing capacity is the same. So what will happen? People will suffer. That's why we want equilibrium, where demand and supply is same. So when the demand will be low, price is high, okay. We know with price supply increase. So we saw the effect of it short term, right? When price increase, what happens to demand? Demand decrease. We are producing more, suppliers are producing more, but there is no demand. Because price is increased, so demand has fallen. So what will happen? They are producing more, but there is no purchaser or buyer. So ultimately they have to reduce their supply. So when they will reduce their supply, what will happen? Do they need more employee now? No. Then they will fire employees or cut off employees. So there you go. Again, we are back to the unemployment phase. That's why inflation is good for short term. For short period of time, there will be no unemployment, but for long term, it's not a succession plan. It's not a good plan, okay? For long term, you need something else, like training, skilled, soft skill training দেওয়া এমপ্লয়ীদের, স্টুডেন্টদের সফট স্কিল ট্রেনিং দেওয়া, যেন অনেকে থাকে। এখন কি হয় আমাদের যে এখন জেনারেশনে কি হচ্ছে, উই আর ডুইং BBA MBA গ্র্যাজুয়েশন মাস্টার্স, বাট উই আর নট গেটিং এনি জব, রাইট? বিকজ উই ল্যাক স্কিল, উই নিড সফট স্কিল, কম্পিউটার স্কিলস, IT স্কিলস, উই ডোন্ট হ্যাভ দ্যাট। যদি আমাদের গভর্নমেন্টে কারিগরি শিক্ষা বোর্ড থাকে না, যদি সফট স্কিলগুলো ইন্ট্রোডিউস করা হয়, তখন কি হবে? আমরা অ্যাটলিস্ট we can survive, right? একদিকে জব না হলেও আমরা কিন্তু আরেকদিকে জব করতে পারছি। So long term, if you have to reduce unemployment, then you need a long term plan like this. Inflation is not the solution for reducing unemployment. So clear, principle number 10? Okay. Now what else? From chapter 1. People response to incentive, that's very easy one. যারা আগে ছিলেন, explain. People respond to incentive. Why? First tell what is incentive. তুর্য সবার সামনে বলেন। এত লো কনফিডেন্স কেন? So incentive is something that is one kind of benefit, right? Like kind of a reward. If you are doing a job, then what do you get? Salary, benefit, bonus, so that is incentive. So এখানে কি বলা হচ্ছে, people respond to incentive. That means what? Nothing is free in this world. If you pay salary or bonus or benefits, then people will work. So in our economy, what happens? When we want to produce more product. So আমি বললাম যে for 100 units, we need 10 employees. We want to produce more, 200 unit now. So we will need more employees, right? So if we hire more employees, we need to pay them incentive. If we don't want to hire more employees, then what you will do? You will give extra payment to these employees for this extra production. So this is one kind of incentive. So that's why I said that people respond to incentive. Without incentive, they will not do any work. Okay? Simple theory. Without money, there is nothing. Without money, there is no work. That's all. Okay. Then what?
Please can briefly explain the three principles of this process.
Acha.
How the economy as a whole works.
Any three principle. What you think it's most suitable to describe the economy. So it's up to you which three principle you think is more important. Okay, there is no ground rule that these three. Okay, whichever you think it's fit. Okay, any more questions from chapter 1? Which last point? When you will see it in the desktop, then it won't happen. Okay, mobile, that's why it's happening. Desktop, it will be clear. This one. Okay, so no more questions from chapter 1 then. Okay, then we are going to move on to chapter 2. Okay, from chapter 2, tell me your problems. Okay, 3 number question, what happened? Acha. Number 3 te bola ache ki graph the production possibility frontier for this economy. Okay, so it's a simple production possibility frontier. Yes. আপনি জাস্ট হচ্ছে যে অ্যানসারগুলো চেয়েছে দ্যাটস অল, মানে এখানে কি বলা হচ্ছে সার্কুলার ফ্লো ডায়াগ্রামের কথা বলছে না। সো ইউ উইল ড্র সার্কুলার ফ্লো ডায়াগ্রাম, দেন উইল শো দিস 4 ক্রাইটেরিয়াস, হোয়াট হ্যাপেন্স টু হোয়াট। ইয়েস, ইন ওয়ান গ্রাফ, ইন ওয়ান পিকচার ইউ উইল হ্যাভ টু শো দিস 4 পয়েন্টস। ইয়েস, হাউ? I don't get your question. Circular flow diagram? Circular flow diagram I have already taught. Did you see the video? Class video? That's really simple. Okay, I will explain to you later. Okay, move on to, okay, let me answer the number 3 question. First one is production possibility frontier, right? It's a simple production possibility frontier. প্রথমে যে ফার্স্টে যে প্রোডাকশন পসিবিলিটি ফ্রন্টিয়ারটা দেওয়া আছে না, ওইটাই দ্য ফার্স্ট ওয়ান। দেন বলা হচ্ছে যে আপনি জাস্ট পয়েন্ট আউট এ বি সি এন্ড ডি। সো দিস ওয়ান অ্যাকচুয়ালি দেখেন, যদি বলা না থাকে দেন আপনারা নিজেরা হচ্ছে নাম্বারটা ধরে নেবেন। যদি এক্সামে বলা থাকে দেন আপনাদের ওই ডাটাগুলোই বসাতে হবে। লাইক সার্কুলার ফ্লো ডায়াগ্রাম, দেয়ার ইজ ডাটা গিভেন, রাইট? ইফ দেয়ার ইজ ডাটা গিভেন দেন ইউ উইল হ্যাভ টু ইনপুট দিস ডাটা। ইফ দেয়ার ইজ নো ডাটা দেন ইউ উইল ড্র অ্যান্ড ইনপুট ডাটা অ্যাকর্ডিং টু ইয়ারসেলফস। ওকে, বলছি why this is so slow. Okay, so this one production possibility number 3. Okay, so first one said draw production possibility frontier. So you will draw this production possibility frontier and then it said to point out A, B, C and D. See, so what was this A and B point? I said if something touch our production possibility frontier then it's efficient, right? So A and B is efficient. What is C? Unattainable or unachievable. Why? Because in economy no resources are equal, that's why it's unachievable. And D? inefficient level. The economy can produce maximum 3000 and 1000, but they are producing only 1300. That means a very low production. That means the D point is inefficient level. It's not acceptable. So you will have to point out this and explain. Okay? So that's the number 3. And the circular flow diagram, right? Okay. Dekhen, circular flow diagram actually key. This diagram actually explains how in an economy the input and output of product, the input of product and output of product is processing, and how the dollar flows. Okay, that means the money flows in an economy. So first we see that there is 2 major parts in an economy. One is farm, one is household. If we see it simply, so farms, what they do, they produce product and sell them, right? Their basic function. And household, what they do, they buy those products and consume. Simple word. And we have 2 markets. Why? Because when we are buying any product, then what do? We go directly to their farm or factory and tell them, I want to buy your product, this product. No, we need a buyer, right? We have third party. So what is the buyer? We buy products from market and they offer those products to market, right? That's why you have 2 market. One is market for goods and services, one is market for factors of production. Now, what is market for goods and services? That means বুঝাই যাচ্ছে, right? Market for goods and services. That means here goods are offered and goods are sold. The farms offer their goods and that is sold. So if we start from here, what you see, farm, they produce and sell products where these products and services sold to the market. Okay? So farm sell, household buy. Household buy their product here. So they are buying and consuming. Then what happens, see, from household the farm get what? Labor, land and capital. How? We are working at the farms, right? I am consuming and I am also working. If we say this university, right? What's happening here? I am giving my service here, I am getting money, right? So this is a reciprocal process, right? We are buying from the farm and again we are working at that farm. আমরাই তো কাজ করি ফার্মে, রাইট? সো ওখান থেকে তো আমরা ইনকাম করি। সো দ্যাটস ওয়াই উই আর গিভিং আওয়ার ল্যান্ড, লেবার অ্যান্ড ক্যাপিটাল। সামটাইমস উই ইনভেস্ট ইন দ্য ফার্ম, ইনভেস্ট ইন প্রোডাকশন, মানি। Sometimes we give our land for rent for production facility. Sometimes we work in the farms or service centers. So from household, what happens? So household own and sell factors of production. Now what is factors of production? Factors of production are those are main components for production, okay? Main components for any production. There can be many things like technology and other things, water, electricity, gas, many things associated with production. But the main 3 things that are must for production are land, labor and capital. That's why it's called factor of production. So if in exam it said what are factors of production, you must write land, labor and capital, these 3. The main component for production. So from household we get land, labor and capital. What happens? We offer this to the market. We go to the market like our BD jobs or vacancy announcement. We offer our CV, they select us. So this is kind of a market for factor of production. Then from here the farms take those factors of production and they produce product. Again they produce product, they sell it to the market. We are buying, we are offering our factors of production. Then these are going to the farm again. So this is a cycle, see? Input and output cycle. So if we see the red arrow, this is a flow of input and output. We are only inputting and outputting this product, like giving input of land, labor, capital and getting the output of product. But what happens to the money? এখানে টাকা আসবে না, we are not working for free, right? And they are not giving their product for free. So where is the flow of cash, money? This is the green line. See, what happens is the farm, okay, they give us wage, rent and profit, right? For labor, they give us wage or salary for our labor. For land, if they are renting our land, then there must be money. And for capital, they are giving us profit. We are investing in some portfolio, right? So what happens? They give us profit sharing. So from farm, we get our salary or rent money or profit. So this goes to us. So this is our income for us. I'm working here, so the money I get from here, this is the income from me, right? This is a kind of service firm, right? So from here, I get my salary. So this is my income. What I do with my income? I spend it. Spend it on what? Buying goods and services. So this money is expenditure for me, but revenue for the firm, it's a revenue for the firm. With the revenue, what they do? Again, they produce product, sell product, and give money, wage, rent to us. This is the income to us. Our income is we are expending to the food, and then it's a revenue to them. So this is a continuous cycle. So this is how generally our economy works. So this is called the circular flow of economy. That's it. Why circular flow? Because this flow is like going by circle, right? Input, output, and money going by circle. So this is our circular flow diagram. Clear? How does it run?
Identify the part of the model that corresponds to the flow of goods and services, the flow of dollar for each.
Yeah. Number 2. So you will draw a circular flow diagram. Then there are 4 components, right? 4 answer asked. So just answer those. What was the first one? K solve করেছেন number 2. Who solved the number 2 question? Okay, read out the number 2 question. One for me. A. What's this said? Quick quiz. Okay, Selena pays $1 for what? For what?
Selena pays shopkeeper for $1.
Okay, shopkeeper. Storekeeper, okay. The same, right? So Selena pays $1 to whom? Shopkeeper, storekeeper. So what will be the number 1 here? কোথায় বসবে? Selena pays, right? So Selena is household. So number A will write here Selena 1. She is the household member. Pays to whom? Pays to the farm, shopkeeper, right? So here we will draw A, Selena paying what? Expenditure. This is revenue for the farm, and farm here farm we will write storekeeper. So clear? So number A is storekeeper, number A Selena. This is how we will write it, okay? So like this A, B, C, D, we will have to write it like this way. Selena is a household member, right? Selena pays to whom? Shopkeeper or storekeeper. So storekeeper means the farm, right? That's why A will be the storekeeper here and A will be the Selena here. What's B said?
Steward earns $4.5 per hour working at a fast food restaurant.
Acha, so at a fast food restaurant, steward work, okay? So steward earns $5 working in a restaurant, right? So steward is whom? A household member, so B steward. He is earning money, so that means income, right? Income coming from where? The farm, because this is the part of a restaurant is a farm, right? So from farm we will write B, restaurant, the earning is wage or salary, income to what? B, steward. Clear? No. In one graph you will have to draw, no separate. See, I told you, just write A, B and just show the flow. You can use color pens if you want, or you can like draw and mark by pencil. This line is for Stuart or this line is for Selena. But in one picture, you don't need to like draw 4 separate pictures for that, okay? So this one is clear, number 2, I will have to draw it. And I also said production possibility frontier for that, right? Okay, now what? From chapter 2. Normatives? Tell me, what is positive statement, what is normative statement? যারা ক্লাস করেছেন। Okay? জোরে। Okay everyone, you need to listen. জোরে।
Positive হচ্ছে যেগুলো scientifically proven fact, যেগুলো normative হচ্ছে
Okay. So positive statements are those are already proven fact. We know these are proven, right? So what are these proven facts? কি হতে পারে? some proven fact that is already proved, that's called positive statement. So that's a positive statement, right? Because it's already proven, we already know it. Then what is normative statement? Normative statement is something that we suggest to people. Okay, so if I say, if I suggest to the university that you should install a projector instead of a television, so that's a normative statement because I am suggesting something. So normative statement is something that we suggest. Okay, and positive statement, that's a proven fact, scientifically proven fact, and that those cannot be changed. Okay, so those are positive statements.
Lower tax rate encourage more work and more saving. It is positive.
Positive statement because it's already proven. Yeah. If there is, that's normative statement, you must find should or suggested or what, would, this kind of words. Okay, then you will guess this is normative. Okay. Then what? From chapter 2, any more questions? No? Okay. We'll see what you understood in the assignment part. Yeah. Okay. So no problem from chapter 2? Sure? What the problem? Tell me what? Okay. So a quick review, okay, within 5 minutes. Please attention, production possibility frontier. So what is production possibility frontier? This is we want to show how economy runs, and combines the inputs or outputs. So we want to see how economy combine production, okay. So in an economy we don't produce only a single product or one product, we produce multiple products, right? But what product to produce, in which quantity? So we need to combine. This combination is solved by production possibility frontier. So we try to see how in an economy we combine the production process, which product to produce. So this is our production possibility frontier curve. Here we have selected only 2 products. For simplifying our process, we are showing only 2 products, okay. But in an economy, we know we work with multiple products, we produce multiple products. But for your better understanding, I chose only 2 products, okay. So the first one is computer, second one is car or automobiles. So in an economy, we have 2 products and we put those 2 products here. So the quantity of computer produced and the quantity of car produced. We are trying to see how economy produce multiple products together. What's the output of it, okay. So that's why we are writing here quantity. So computer quantity, car quantity. Now it said in this economy, suppose this is a hypothetical situation, okay, this is a hypothesis. So that whole thing is hypothetical. You can use these points or you can use your own points or own units actually, okay. So আমি এটা আমার মতো করে ধরে নিয়েছি. If you want, আপনারা you can change those digit according to yourself, okay. So main gist টা বুঝেন বা main concept টা. So in this economy we are saying that they can produce maximum of 3000 computer. আমি ধরে নিলাম this economy they have those kind of resources, with those resources they can produce maximum 3000 computer. If they produce computer, they cannot produce car, and if they produce car, they cannot produce computer. For say we have limited limited money, limited technology, limited labor. That's why in this economy, if they produce computer, they cannot produce car. If they produce car, they cannot produce computer, okay. So their maximum capacity of producing computer is 3000 and maximum capacity of producing car is 1000. So if they choose computer, they are not getting the car. If they choose car, they are not getting the computer. So that's why this is our production possibility frontier. The 3000 is the highest limit for computer, 1000 is the highest limit for car. Now, why we carve this production possibility frontier? It said if the production of an economy is in between the production possibility frontier, that means it's efficient. The economy is running well, okay? But it has to touch this production possibility frontier. So, in this economy, they thought we want to produce both of the products. If they try to produce both of the product, can they produce the maximum capacity 3000 and 1000? Is it possible? No, because they don't have those resources. So, what will they have to trade off or give up something, right? So, they said, they thought, okay, they will produce 2000 computers and 600 cars. So, they will combine. So, at this level, it's touching the production possibility frontier. That means this point A is efficient. In this economy, everything is going on, the production is adequate, okay, the production is accurate. Now, at point B, what happens? They thought that they need more cars now because there are more demand for cars. So, they reduce the quantity of computer production a bit, 2000, and they produce car, which is 700. Still, it's touching the production possibility frontier line. That means still the production is adequate, okay, the production amount is right. But what happens when this point D, okay? So, we say when something, the production is like slowing down, the production is getting low at the point D, the point D is inefficient level. Why? Our maximum capacity is 3000, but we are producing only 1000. So, when we will see it's inadequate, when we produce less than half of our maximum capacity, okay. So, our maximum capacity 3000, half is 1500, but we are producing less than half, that means 1000. Here again, our maximum capacity of car is 1000, half is 500, but we are producing only 300, less than half. So, when in an economy they produce less than half of products of their maximum capacity, what they can do, so that point would be called inefficient level. That means the economy is slowing down. So, this is not a good scenario for the economy and we do not want to go there. We always want to touch this production possibility frontier point, okay. And now, what is the point C? The point C is, we say, unattainable or unreachable point. Why? Here, computer is for computer maximum unit is 3000, okay. Car is 1000. C point said they want to produce 50-50, okay. So, is it possible 50-50 production?
Yes.
How?
It's not possible.
Okay. So, these are not like the same, right? 3000 unit, 1000 unit. When it will be same? When we will produce 1000 car and 1000 computer. But in real scenario, it doesn't happen. আপনি নিজে চিন্তা করেন, okay? So in our economy, we have multiple products, chips, chocolate, apparel, shoes, makeup, cosmetics, a lot of things, right? Does they produce every year the same unit? Like for the car, same unit, makeup items, same unit, clothes, same unit? Like we are producing each year 100 units of cars, also 100 units of clothing, 100 units of shoes, 100 units of makeups, 100 units of food? No. Why we don't do that? First of all, demand is not same. Second one is we don't have those resources. We don't have equal resources in our economy. Okay, so if we see about Bangladesh, we are not technologically advanced, right? We focus on manually. So that's why we don't have that much technological advancement products like computer, automobiles. We do agriculture, okay, or we have garments industry. So Bangladesh cannot produce car and clothing at the same level. It's impossible. They will produce car more, because clothing more, because they have resources, but they cannot produce car because they don't have those resources. And again, if we look at Germany, they are the hub of automobiles, right? Why? Because their labor market is based on automobile. They study automobile engineering more. So they have more engineers and they have more technology. That's why they don't focus on apparel industry, because they don't have cheap labor. Highly qualified, intelligent employees, that's why they are more focused on cars, but they don't produce the same level of apparel or food, okay? So that's why in an economy the C cannot be achievable, because the demand will be not same, the resources will be not same. That's why we cannot produce all the products 50-50 like all at the same level. That's why the C point is unattainable or unachievable point, okay? We want to achieve this, we want that our economy or our Bangladesh will produce all the products equally, but it's feasibly not possible, okay? So that's our 4 points. So when in exam you have to, that will be asked to draw a production possibility frontier, then you will have to write, 1 minute, the definition of the production possibility frontier, then you will have to draw it and point out this, okay? So you will have to explain what point B represent, what point D represent and C represents, okay? So that's all, and the explanation is already given, so you can check it out, okay? টাইম কেন, হ্যাঁ আমরা কেন হচ্ছে ইনপুটটা দেখছি না, বিকজ প্রোডাকশন পসিবিলিটি ফ্রন্টিয়ার মেইনলি ফোকাস অন আউটপুট, লাইক কম্বিনেশন অফ আউটপুট, দ্যাটস ওয়াই ইউ আর নট ডিসকাসিং ইনপুট হিয়ার, ওকে? দ্য মেইন পারপাস ইজ টু সি হাউ ইকোনমি ইন অ্যান ইকোনমি কম্বিনেশন অফ আউটপুটস আর প্রডিউসড, ওকে? দ্যাটস ওয়াই ইনপুট নিয়ে বলছি না, না এক্সপ্লেন ইউ ক্যান ডু ইট, ওকে? So if you try to explain like that, it's already fine, okay? আপনি যদি ইনপুট দিয়ে টাইম দিয়ে এক্সপ্লেন করতে চান, ইটস অলসো ফাইন, নো ইস্যু দ্যাট, না হবে না। So explanation, if you know the concept, you can explain it in your own way, okay? Multiple product I will not give you. You will read it in the macroeconomics. It will come in the macroeconomics. So save it for that. Now just understand this, okay? So chapter 2 clear. So in chapter 2 we mainly have two things, okay? Two models of economy. One is circular flow diagram, one is production possibility frontier. That's all. And there are two statements, positive and normative statements. So those are the main topics of chapter 2. Okay, and for chapter 1 there is 10 principles, very important for the exam. From 10 principles there are broad question and short question as well, so must and have a clear understanding of those 10 principles, okay? Yes, yes.
I think you say I will do the online class.
I didn't get your question actually.
When are you doing the online class?
Okay, we don't have any online class facilities for the BBA students actually, but we do record our videos, so you can watch from those, okay? So you probably replied last night, right? So the previous lectures were in Bangla. That's why I said I will take a review class today. So that's how you might have a understanding now. So what you do, go to the contents, because the contents are in English, and I'm trying to chapter 1 and 2, I guess from 3 and 4 there must be in English, but maybe chapter 1 and 2 are just the problem. So chapter 1 and 2 I already explained today, right? Repeating again. So you see, just tell me what the problem in chapter 1, 2, I will solve it right now, okay? And chapter 3 and 4, from there you have English lectures. Okay, so chapter 2, I already discussed the main concept of chapter 2, right? Production possibility frontier, the circular flow diagram, positive and normative statement. There is nothing to it from chapter 2. Okay. So any more questions from chapter 2? No? So chapter 1 and chapter 2 were clear? Everyone? Okay. So how about chapter 3? What's the problem in chapter 3? যাদের কোনো প্রবলেম নাই, ওকে, those who are saying that you don't have any problem, then আমি আসলে দেখতে চাই যে what do you guys do in the exam, okay? So you must get an A+ because you know everything. Okay. Chapter 3. Quick quiz chapter 1 from chapter 3. Okay, quiz I will discuss any content wise problem. Okay, let me see what's quick quiz. The last or the from the first? From the first, okay. Okay, in the next class, in the next class we will start from chapter 5, but we will see chapter 4, the last part, which I gave you as a class homework, right? From chapter 4, last 2 slides and quick quiz. That was your homework. So in our Thursday's class, you have to like present those, okay? Your homeworks. Yeah. So if you understand those 2 slides, then you have to explain what did you understand and solve that one quick quiz only. So in the next class we will start from there, okay? From chapter 4, the last 2 slides and that quick quiz. Then we will move on to the chapter 5. So chapter 4 kar ki problem ache, okay? Probably 10. 8 to 10. In your book, there must be like 15 or 16 chapters. So I will try to cover the important ones only, okay? Not all the chapters. Okay, so the chapter 3 is all about independence and the gain from the trade. Okay, you said the problem was from quick quiz 1, right? That's why I'm saying you guys, okay, because you don't have mid, what happens? So the contents those are in mid, we don't repeat it to the final, right? So the mid is completed, those chapters are gone. So we give new chapters for finals, but as we are giving final and mid together, so there are lots of chapters to cover. So if you don't read from the beginning, you cannot catch up. It's impossible. And for microeconomics, it's a really tough one, because you only have completed HSC, right? So microeconomics, most of you didn't have 3rd or 4th subject in economics. So it's really tough. You don't study, if you don't study from now, you cannot catch up. It's impossible. That's why I'm repeating, like I have completed 4 chapters and also I am taking a review class, so that your knowledge are clear, okay, and all the problems are solved. So এই জিনিসটা একটু খেয়াল রাখেন, okay? Because there is no mid, right? So your exam will be about 70 marks. So we need chapters. So 70 marks question, right? Yeah, September. Mid-September. 8 to 10. I don't know about other courses, but for my courses 8 to 10, okay? So depends on how quickly you can adopt, okay? That. Okay, so quick quiz. Which one? Number 1, draw an example of production possibility frontier for Robinson Crusoe, a shipwreck sailor who spends his time gathering coconut and catching fish. No, it's not for this one. It's this one. Production possibility frontier from chapter 3. Chapter 3 assignment কারা কারা কমপ্লিট করেছেন? June is the last date, right? So you don't have much time. Today is 14th, so only 1 week. Yeah, so কতটুকু কমপ্লিট হয়েছে? Chapter 1 to done? Only 1? How about 2 and 3? যারা ক্লাস করেছে তাদের কি অবস্থা? Those who were present in the class, previous classes? আচ্ছা, ওকে, আমাদের দেখেন chapter 2 was all about production, our economic model, right? So one very important economic model was production possibility frontier. So এটারই extension, okay? So the extension of chapter 2 is chapter 3. So in this chapter it's all about production possibility frontier, but we try to see it in a different way. So in chapter 2 production possibility frontier, we worked in one single economy, one seller with two products, right, computer and cars. But in this production possibility frontier there are two producers of two products. আমরা একটু জিনিসটা একটু extend করলাম, okay? So in this chapter 2 we only discussed for two products and one seller, and now here we have two sellers for two products. So how does it work? দেখেন, ফার্স্টে বলা হচ্ছে যে আমাদের প্রোডাক্টগুলো কি দেখেন। So our product is meat and potato and we have two sellers in the market, one is farmer, one is rancher. Okay, so this is clear. So first see, there is an input given, right, 8 hours. So আপনি ফার্স্ট আমাকে কোশ্চেন করেছেন, রাইট, যে আওয়ার্স দিয়ে করলে কি হয়, দ্যাটস এক্সপ্লেইনস ইন চ্যাপ্টার 3. আওয়ার্সের সাথে প্রোডাকশন পসিবল মানে ইনপুটের সাথে রিলেশনশিপটা। ইন চ্যাপ্টার 2 উই অনলি স প্রোডাকশন পসিবিলিটি ফ্রন্টিয়ার ফর দ্য আউটপুট পার্ট। নাও ইন চ্যাপ্টার 3 উইল সি উইথ দ্য ইনপুট অ্যান্ড আউটপুট পার্ট। ওকে, সো দ্য ইনপুট ইজ 8 hours. So in 8 hours a farmer can produce 8 ounces of meat and 32 ounces of potato. So what did we say? Production possibility frontier. If we want to achieve the maximum capacity, then we have to let go one product. Okay. So if a farmer wants to produce 8 ounces of meat, he cannot produce 32 ounces of potato. Okay, he has to choose one. So our production possibility frontier is from 8 to 12. You can carve it out or you can draw a straight line. It's okay. Okay. And same goes for the rancher. So a rancher, he can produce 24 ounces of meat or 48 ounces of potato, any one. So we draw 24 meat and 48 ounces of potato. So this is our rancher's production possibility frontier line. Now what happens? This is the production possibility frontier complete. Okay. Now it's said what happens if they want to both produce and consume their own product, right? If farmer only produce meat and rancher only produce potato, then what will happen? They have to exchange, right? So they don't want to go for exchange. They want to produce their own product and consume their own product. So what will happen? They have to split their time in half so that they can produce the same both of the products. So they split their 8 hours half, and what they produced, 8 ounces of meat, they can produce 4 ounces of meat, and from 32 they can produce 16 because they are giving them half time. Okay, so 4 hours for meat and 4 hours of potato. So the output will be half as well, from 8 to 4 and 32 to 16. So at this point A, this is the production and consumption possibility frontier for the farmer. That means what he produces, he consumes. He is not going for trade. He is not going for trade. He will produce and he will consume by himself. So this is the production and consumption possibility frontier for the farmer. Now what happens to the rancher? If he wants to do the same, then what will happen? He will split his time as well. So 4 hours for meat, 4 hours potato. So the output will be half as well, 12 and 24. So this point is the production and consumption possibility frontier for the rancher. Okay, because they don't want to go in trade, they want to produce and consume their own product. So it's clear. If in exam is asked to draw a production possibility frontier like Robinson Crusoe, right, and Friday, so then you have to draw the production possibility frontier only. No need to point out the production and consumption possibility frontier. If in exam it's said to draw the production and consumption possibility frontier for someone, then you will have to show this point, production and consumption possibility frontier. Clear? Okay. Now our main motive in this chapter. If they trade, then this is just only the production possibility frontier line. They will choose only one, but they are not doing. That's why there is a production and consumption frontier line. Now, if we notice the chapter 3, okay, our title is independence and the gain from trade. Okay, so the independence part is clear. Independence in what? They will not do any trade. They will produce and consume their own product. That means they are independent, right? But it said that trade is better. Okay, trade is better. Amader eta principle chilo. In chapter 1 we had a principle, I don't remember the principle number, but it said trade is better off for everyone. The principle. Okay, so okhane ki bola hocchilo je trade is good for everyone. Why? In this chapter 3 we want to prove this. If we consume and produce alone, it's not a good way. If we go for trade, then it's profitable for everyone, and we want to prove this in chapter 3. That is our main motto. So we already saw if we consume and produce, then what happens. Okay, so আমার একটু লিখতে হবে। আচ্ছা, ইয়াটা কি ছিল আপনার মিট অ্যান্ড হচ্ছে পটেটো, রাইট? ফার্মার 8 32 4 16। আচ্ছা, র্যাঞ্চারটা কত ছিল? 24 and 48। 24, right? Okay. So these explanations are given here, okay? যেটা আমি মাত্র বললাম। Now see what happens here. So now we want to prove that independence is not better, trade is better, right? Our point is that because we want to make trade, international trades. So why it's better? Why don't a country produce alone? Like Bangladesh কেন সব নিজের প্রোডাক্ট নিজে প্রোডিউস করে না? Why they go for trade? There must be a reason, because there must be a profit. So কোনো জায়গায় কি আপনার কি মনে হয় যে প্রফিট যদি না থাকে, if there is no profit or there is no gain, তাহলে কি কেউ কোনো কাজ করে? No. Okay, so there must be a reason why you go for trade, not produce everything alone. Okay, so this is what we want to prove here. So in our last production possibility frontier, okay, this picture if you don't give in the exam, it's not important. If this question is in the exam, then you have to draw this table only. Okay, so this question will be like how trade expands the opportunity for everyone, or how trade is better off for everyone, or how trade maximize the consumption level. Okay, so this sort of question, okay, if asked, then you have to draw this table. Clear? But the picture is not mandatory. If you want, you can give, but the table must be there and you have to explain it. Okay, now let's see what is it. In this part, we saw that they are producing for themselves and consuming themselves independently, but we want to prove trade is better for everyone. So what happens now? We draw this table. Farmer, rancher, there are two products, meat, potato. Clear? Without trade, that means when they were producing and consuming for themselves. Okay, so there is no trade. So what was the amount? Meat was 4 and the potato was 16, right? So for the rancher, the meat was 12 and 24 for the potato, because they are splitting their time 8 hours into 4. So এই পার্টটা তো ক্লিয়ার, রাইট? জাস্ট এখান থেকে বসালাম আমি উইদাউট ট্রেড, when they are production and consumption, they are for themselves. Now what happened with trade when you go for trade? So the farmer and rancher made a contract. Okay, so the farmer rancher said your meat production is very low. In 8 hours you can only produce maximum of 8. Okay, and in 8 hours potato 32. So you are good in potato production, right? He is good in potato production. So why not you give up meat and only focus on potatoes? And what all I will do? I will produce meat and exchange to you for potatoes. Okay. So if you see, farmer is good in potatoes, right? But the rancher is good in both than the farmer, both meat and both potato. So he decided he will produce both of the product because he is good in both. But as farmer is good in potato, he will produce only potato. So the deal is made. So farmer is producing no meat, 0 ounce, producing 32 ounce of potato. Rancher is producing 18 ounce of meat and 12 ounce of potato. 50 is he splitted. Okay. Now what happens? See, the trade happens. So he gives, the farmer gives 15 ounce of potato, the deal. Okay, 15. You can change the number. Okay, this is a hypothetical case, so you can change the number. He gives 15 ounce of potato and gets 5 ounce of meat from the rancher. So the rancher gives 5. What gets for him, gives for him rancher. What gets for farm, that means plus for farmer meat and minus from rancher because he is giving the meat to him. And potato, the farmer is giving potato to the rancher, that means minus 15 from farmer and plus 15 to the rancher. So what happens to the output? See, we have 0 production, but we are still gaining 5 ounce of meat. What happens here? He produced 32 ounce of potato but gave 15. So he has left with 15 ounce of potatoes, farmer. What happens to the rancher? He produced 18 ounce of meat but gave 5. So he have left 13. Potatoes, he produced 12, got 15. So 27. Now this line is our from trade and this line from without trade. So just compare. Without trade, the farmer can produce and consume 4 ounce of meat. With trade, he is producing nothing, still getting 5. That means 1 plus. Okay. So potato, he was producing 16 ounce of potato. Now he is producing 32. So he is also after giving 15, he still has 16, right? 17. That means 17 minus 16, he is getting also here positive 1 from trade. Without trade, the amount was less. With trade, the amount is more. What happens to the rancher? Without trade, his production was only 12. With trade, what happens? He is producing 18 but giving 5. Still he has 13, right? So plus 1 again. Potato, he produced 24 only alone. Now he is producing 12 and getting from the farmer 15 because of the trade. So the amount is 27. So gain 3. That means what? From trade, that increase consumption, trade is better. From trade, the output increase. Now what happens in real life? Think. This is the scenario of farmer and rancher. মাথায় একটা কোয়েশ্চেন আসে না, why farmer is producing only potato and the rancher is producing meat and potato both? Think about, this is our country and this is USA. Bangladesh is the underdeveloping country, right? So this country may not be good and everything, technological thing and everything. We are based in what? Garments. So our strength is here. What we do, we produce our apparel garments industry, so we produce clothes and we trade for other items. USA is a developed country. He is good in many things. For say he is good in food and car. But he doesn't have any clothing. Why? Because their labor is very high. They don't have cheap labor. So if they can produce clothes, okay, USA can produce clothes, but what will happen? Their labor cost for per cloth is $10 and our labor cost for per clothing is only $1. So if they produce clothes, so the cloth price will be more. So what they do, if they are good in car and food production, because their labor is that much skilled, so they focus on those and they exchange with our clothing. They give us food and car, we gave them garments. That's why sometimes what is said, যে country যেটাতে special, the country those are specialized, the country those country, the like for Bangladesh, garments is our specialization, USA maybe food and car. So the countries with maximum specialization, they should focus on those products production only. Okay, this way we can gain maximum profit from trade. Okay, so with those products which we are specialized in, we will produce only those and then we will trade. So by trading, there is maximum profit or maximum gain. But there must be like what we have to produce for that, only specialized good. The country that are specialized on certain goods, they will only produce those products and exchange with other country. So this is how our actually gain, the trade, from trade we get our maximum outputs or maximum benefits or gains. Okay. So in exam, if it said how trade maximizes the consumption level or how trade is better off for everyone, so you have to explain this table. Picture is not mandatory, but you have to explain this table. So these amounts can be changed because this is a hypothesis. You can change the amount, but remember there must be shown gain from it. Okay, no minus figure. So this is how you have to draw it. Quick quiz. This one?
প্রথম প্রশ্নটা তার কনজাম্পশন লেভেল তো ওকে আছে সে যদি মানে
ওকে ফার্স্ট এখানে কি বলেছে ডাজ দ্য ফ্রন্টিয়ার লিমিট ক্রুজোস কনজাম্পশন অফ কোকোনাট অ্যান্ড ফিশ ইফ হি লিভ বাই হিমসেলফ what do you think of course right because if he is producing and consumption his own thing that means আমরা তো মাত্রই দেখলাম he have to split his time in two that means less for him right so এটার অ্যান্সারটা তাহলে কি হবে of course it limits the consumption of Robinson Crusoe right
দুই নাম্বারটা করব তো ইমাজিনারি ভ্যালু আনতে হবে
আচ্ছা সো এখানে বলছে যে ও যদি নিজেই কোকোনাট আর ফিশ দুইটাই কালেক্ট না করে if he trade then what will happen so in this island there are other natives so if he trade like if he says that I am good in catching coconut and you are good in catching fish so you catch fish I catch coconut then we will trade then what explain you have to like you have to imagine okay so point গুলো যেগুলো আছে বা amount or units or time you can imagine it yourself
এই প্যারাতে তো কোনো ইনপুট নাই
ধরে নেবেন আপনি hypothesis okay this is a totally hypothetical question if in exam there are points like times or হচ্ছে amount or unit then you will explain by this self but if in the exam there is no points given unit or time input or output given then আপনারা ধরে নিতে হবে okay yes first one is like consumption and production together what happens the scenario if he produce and consume and second one if he goes for trade then what happens okay তখন আপনি কি করবেন see for part 2 you can imagine like this so this is Robinson Crusoe this is natives so the two products are coconut and fish coconut and fish then this way you will draw a table okay clear
Comparative advantage and trade.
what is comparative advantage যে সামনে সিটের what is comparative advantage first tell me what is absolute advantage কি মনে আছে what is absolute advantage
the ability to produce something with the maximum from the same amount the same resource
so with limited resource who can produce maximum output right so absolute advantage is when you can produce something with limited or less resources rather than your competitor so if you compare Bangladesh and USA Bangladesh can produce a car in 10 hours right but USA can produce the same car in 5 hours so what is the input hours so Bangladesh is taking more time USA is taking less time so who has absolute advantage in producing car USA so that's called absolute advantage when we are giving less input to produce more output and what is comparative advantage
opportunity cost is low
yeah so comparative advantage is when we can produce something with lower opportunity cost এখন এটা এক্সপ্লেন করেন একজন what is lower opportunity cost related with comparative advantage দেখেন farmer can produce both either meat or potato right so what is his absolute advantage the input is 8 hours right 8 hours so the input is same but what is the output potato is more so he has absolute advantage in potato but what's his comparative advantage we say comparative advantage is when we have the ability to produce a good at a lower opportunity cost right so if I choose potato my profit is more right if I choose meat my profit is less so if I let go the meat I have low opportunity cost in potato right because I am letting go the less amount less profit but I am keeping the more profit so the farmer has low opportunity cost in potato if he let go of the meat clear now if comes from the rancher he also have 8 hours input what's his absolute advantage potato right he can produce meat 24 but potato 40 so absolute advantage in potato but what hits his comparative advantage now that's a tricky question আমি কিন্তু এটা এক্সপ্লেন করেছিলাম বলেন
opportunity cost according to meat is higher for potato
yeah the rancher would choose meat why though he can produce more potatoes but the farmer is also producing potato if he produce potato, then what is gonna exchange with? In an economy, একটা countryতে দুইজন প্রোডিউসারই আছে। Okay, in an economy there is two producers and they are producing the same product. Then what's the trade? Trade কে করবে? What's gonna happen to the trade? That's why the rancher should choose meat, and the meat is his opportunity cost, lower opportunity cost. So his comparative advantage is with meat. Clear? This is how we identify our comparative advantage. Absolute advantage and comparative advantage. So absolute advantage একজনের অনেকগুলো থাকতে পারে, আমি বলেছিলাম, right? A person can have many absolute advantage, like he is good in reading, writing, singing, okay, dancing. So he has lots of comparative advantage, absolute advantage. But what would be his comparative advantage? For say, he got number 1 in dancing, but his like reading or singing is mediocre. That means what? He has comparative advantage in dancing, right? So a person or a economy, okay, আমরা যদি country ধরি, in an economy there can be many products that a country can produce. He is good at. That's his absolute advantage. He can produce goods at lower input rather than other countries. Like USA, he can produce many products rather than Bangladesh with lesser input. But ওদের কি সব প্রোডিউস করা উচিত? Should they produce everything? No. They will produce only those products with comparative advantage, যেখানে তাদের opportunity cost low. So what will happen when USA will choose product to produce with lower opportunity cost, that means choosing comparative advantage, that means they will gain more profit because the product they are letting go has less profit with it, and then the product they are keeping for themselves for production will make more profit. That's why with comparative advantage there is gain. When an economy thinks about producing some product, they think about comparative advantage. What comparative advantage they have, not about absolute advantage. Clear? In here, farmer and rancher. Rancher has absolute advantage in both rather than the farmer, right? But what is his comparative advantage? We saw meat, right? Because no one in the economy is producing meat. If he produce meat, then he can exchange it in a high rate with potato. একটা জিনিস থাকে না, the price of potato is more or the price of meat is more? Meat is more, right? So if he exchange meat with potato, he will get more potato and have to give less meat. So this is his strong point. That's why it's his opportunity cost. It's his comparative advantage. Clear?
Last quick quiz যেটা আছে এটা কি ম্যাথ সহ দেখাতে হবে না জাস্ট এক্সপ্লেইন করে দিলে হবে?
আচ্ছা, কোনটা এটা? This one?
Like earning the math দেখাবো না?
Doctor and surgeon, right? Okay, the question was
Explain
you need to explain. Okay, so it says suppose that a skilled brain surgeon also happens to be world's fastest typist. So should she do her own typing or hire a secretary? Explain. You will have to explain. Of course, we know she should hire a secretary, but on what basis? You have to explain it via comparative advantage and absolute advantage. So the brain surgeon has absolute advantage in both things, right? Because she is the world renowned brain surgeon as well as the world's fastest typist. That means she is based in two things. So absolute advantage she has in two things, right? But what she should do? It will be based on comparative advantage. So if she does surgery, then she will earn more money, right? But if she is the typist, then there is no money. She is doing her own work. If she hire a secretary then and pay some amount, in that time she can do brain surgeries and earn more money. So comparative advantage for her is to be a brain surgeon, not a world fastest typist, and she should hire a secretary. No, just the way I explained it, okay? So a person can have absolute advantage in many things. She has absolute advantage in two things, but she chose only one. Based on what? Based on comparative advantage. So আপনাদের এইরকম টাইপের কোশ্চেন আসলে you will have to explain basis on absolute advantage and comparative advantage. Okay?
Right.
হ্যাঁ, explanation only. No input, output, no time, no other thing unit. Okay? Only explain. So clear? এটা কিন্তু অনেকটা similar with this question. Okay? Tiger Woods. Okay, if you understand this example, then we will be able to write this question. Okay, brain surgeon related. So chapter 3 clear. I think I have explained each and every component in chapter 3. So today we can skip the class, right? We can cancel. We can pause the class. It's already 11:35. What's your next class with? Night, sir. Okay, he's here. So no question in chapter 3. Clear? We're not going to discuss chapter 1, 2, 3 in the next classes. Okay? So আজকে শেষ করেন. Okay. So I guess we are done from for today. Chapter 1.